You know those mornings right after it rains and it feels cooler and refreshing? Yeah, that's one of those mornings. So in today's episode, we have this black Camero in for some specialty work. It needs polishing. The interior, we're gonna do a full interior, but it's really not bad at all. Let's focus on the exterior. It has some what looks like soap residue that dried onto the paint. We're gonna remedy that. I'm gonna show you how we do that. Guys, if you're enjoying videos like this, and I hope you are, consider subscribing and clicking that bell so you don't miss stuff. And if you're interested in any of the tools or the products, check out the links down below. Go to our new website. I'll also either have it in the corner or down below. We have our links there for our most used products, and we also have merchandise like these awesome t-shirts, as well as 2 free forms for any detailers who are starting out or that want these types of forms. We have our acknowledgement form and a vehicle customer sign-off form. So go check those out. So let's take a look at the Camero. The wheels definitely need help. Ooh. Now this vehicle is not driven in the rain. The customer likes to reserve this vehicle for special events and special things, which I really love customers like that because it usually means that the vehicle is cleaner and it's well taken care of. But a little mishap happened and we have this residue. So you can see it there in the light. It's like streaky residue and it's all over the vehicle, but when the customer came, I did a little test spot here. So you can see residue here, but it clears up here. And I just did a light hand polish here, just to see what I was working with, and it came out. So it basically just needs a light polish, nothing too extensive. We're really focusing on those water spots and that residue that it dried on. Yeah, you can really see it there. It just looks, oh, it looks terrible. So that will come out. It didn't come out when washing the vehicle, the customer said. So let's try some shampoos that we have and some cleaners, and then we're going to polish it. I'm going to use a descaling shampoo, which is from CarPro, and it's actually an acidic shampoo that helps with getting rid of water spots. Now, this is more residue from soap, so it's not necessarily minerals, but let's see if it helps. And I'm not really thinking the shampooing or the washing is going to help. It needs polishing, but let's give it a try and see what happens. And the wheels, like I showed you before, definitely need help. Now we are doing an interior as well, but it's not bad, so we're not going to focus filming on the interior. We're going to get this done, and then we're going to focus on the exterior. If you ever get jobs like this, where the customer comes in and shows you weird things on the paint like this, do a little test spot right then and there if you can. Grab a little bit of polish, whatever polish, a light to medium polish, a little applicator, like a little microfiber applicator in your towel and a quick detailer. Choose a spot that you can easily see, you know, that's why we did it on this little fender here, and just do a little test spot with polishing. Wipe it with a quick detailer to kind of clean it, and then just hand polish a little bit just to see what's going to happen. It's a good test. The customer was right here when I did it, so they could see what I was doing, and basically when it came out nice and glossy like that and removed the residue, I knew, okay, it does need a polishing. This area came out great. You never know as you're working around the vehicle. Don't just assume, oh, that was super easy, the rest of it should be easy. Don't assume that. Do let them know at least, like, hey, that did come out. There's a good chance that the rest of it will come out, but do not promise them anything. Always let them know that once you get into polishing, that's really when you start to see the difference in the paint and really start to kind of examine the paint as you go along. It's almost like, you know, doctors giving you diagnosis for things and examining things. They really don't know until they examine and they go through it. Even with surgeries, some surgeons won't know what's wrong until they actually cut and actually get into you and see, oh, this is wrong. It could be more, it could be less. You really don't know until you start putting polisher to paint. So don't overpromise. Under-promise, over-deliver, always. That is kind of a motto that I live by with our detailing business. I'm very confident that this is going to come out beautiful. Just because that test spot, it did come out very easily. The rest of it, we don't know. So when talking to customers like that, always just, you know, reassure them, yes, we can definitely make it look better. Don't overpromise things and say, oh yes, it's going to come out 100%, because you don't know yet. That one little area came out great, but you don't know yet. So play it safe, my fellow detailers. All right, so let's get this thing washed and we'll pull it in. It may rain today, I'm not sure. It's kind of, I don't know what it's doing today. It's supposed to rain, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, you can see the water spots here. We have a little bit on the glass here as well. And we have some big splotchy water spots and residue here as well. So this is our APC rinse. If you don't know about our APC rinse, I talk about this a lot, and you may think, oh, putting an APC like this on black paint, that's not good, it's gonna stain the paint. No, it doesn't. Just use some common sense. If you are working on a vehicle, a black vehicle like this in direct sunlight and it's extremely hot, you pre-rinse the paint first to cool it down, and then you can apply your APC like this. We have it diluted in there about 1 to 10. It's super clean. It's just basic super clean. And again, some people are a little fearful of doing that. Try it for yourself first before you come to that conclusion. And do it in a smart way. Just rinse the paint, cool it off a little bit, let it dwell for just 30-60 seconds, and then rinse it off. This is going to soften any of the damaged material, dirt and junk and grime on the paint. It's high alkaline, which means it's going to be dissolving oils and fats and greases. Fats, or why would fat be on a vehicle? That's what oil and grease is. It's considered a fat. So high alkaline cleaners dissolve that stuff, makes it easier to rinse off, and it actually cleans the paint. Our pre-wash is actually doing the majority of the cleaning. The contact wash, the foaming and contact wash, is removing that last roughly 10% or so of anything that might be still attached to the paint, but it's usually very, very light film on the paint. So as I've been talking, it's probably been about a minute or so let's rinse it off. This also effectively starts to clean the wheels and the tires. This IK foamer is amazing. You can put any type of pre-wash you want in here. Usually a high alkaline shampoo or APC is going to do a great job at pre-cleaning. You can choose whatever you like in this foam cannon, or in this foam canister. This thing is just incredible. Oh, the mats. I do this to the mats as well. Pre-rinsing, is it going to dilute your cleaner? Don't worry about that. That is so minimal, it can't even be quantified. Don't worry about that. Don't put yourselves into a box. There are so many things that you can try. There's no set, hard, fast rules or methods. Do what works for you, and you will come up with your own methods. You can copy other people, that's totally fine, but don't think that that's a rule because you put yourself into a box and then you just don't think outside of that box. Don't do that. Detailing is fluid, it's ever-changing. The variables are so numerous that it allows you to play around and experiment with things to see what works best. So that's why you see us do certain methods, and we switch it up sometimes. Sometimes we will foam the entire vehicle down with a snow foam and then rinse it all off and then do the contact. It doesn't matter. We can kind of pick and choose whatever we want to do. So you don't have to put yourself into a box. It's not good to do that because it stifles thinking ability. All right, pre-wash is done. Let's foam it and contact wash, and I'll feel the paint and we'll see if I need to use the clay mitt or clay bar. I'm thinking I'm gonna run the clay mitt over it anyway, because I'm sure I'm gonna find spots that need some decontamination. As far as chemical deconning, I'm not worried about that. This does not go in the rain. It's not driven that much. If the paint is smooth to the touch, that's what I'm concerned about. If you want to chemical decon it for your peace of mind, you can go right ahead. That's totally cool. But once again, it is not a hard and fast rule. even if little tiny iron particles may still be embedded in there after the clay mitting. If the paint is smooth, it does not matter. Don't overthink the process. All right, so I have descaling here. I only put about an ounce to about 20-ish ounces of water. That's my standard dilution ratio for most soaps these days. I don't always fill up the entire foam cannon because I'm always using different soaps. So I'll fill it about halfway-ish and then put an ounce in there. Or even half an ounce would be fine. Now I'm hoping, since this vehicle is garaged, that the water spots and soap residue should easily come off with this chemical, but we'll see. Because it's not baked in the sun. That's what I mean. Oh wow, the paint is smooth. Interesting. The paint is very smooth, wow. Yep, that's about right. So as I'm going along, I'm also going to use the little brush here and get into all these little cracks and crevices. These Camaros, man, they're like low and flat. They have a lot of little panels and gaps and stuff that need to be agitated with a little brush. Nooks and crannies, like an English muffin. That's weird. It got weird. It won't get weird. It got weird, didn't it? So wash process is now done. Everything is deconned, looking good. We just finished up the wheels, and what we're doing is applying a spray and rinse off sealant. So we're using the Sonax spray and seal. Super easy application, spray on. And I usually suggest just let it sit on there for like 5-10 seconds. Let it kind of bond, and then you can rinse it off with the pressure washer. The strong stream of water from the pressure washer is better than a garden hose, I think, and they even suggest that. So try it both ways, but we found the pressure washer works better. Oh, beady, all the way into the barrels. Very nice. So now with the car pulled in, let's take a look at the paint. Did the CarPro descale help? Not really. Actually, let's see. Did it help with any of these? That's not to say that it's not a product that works. It's meant for fresh water spots. These are kind of etched into the paint. They're pretty bad. However, using the CarPro descale is going to help remove the minerals at least, but water spots and residue and things like that can stain and etch the paint, the clear coat. So then you need subsequent polishing. So you can see here, man, the water spots are really bad, but those are hard water spots. The customer was concerned about the residue. Those other water spots, they've been in there for a long time. Yeah, really, really bad. You can see that. So that's not the soap residue. Those are old water spots. As far as the soap residue, it did get a lot of it off, but I can still see some here. But the lights are revealing water spots that are old. So we have these big, ugly, pooled water spots here, but you can still see the residue that kind of stained the paint. But that it did reduce a little bit, but we'll see if we can get rid of that. The paint feels nice and smooth at least, so I don't know. we'll see. We can try a water spot remover and then polish. We'll see if that helps, or we'll just, you know, polish and see if that removes the water spots. We're gonna try a few different things. I'm going to start with Burnout from Shine Supply. This is a reconditioning cream. It's basically an all-in-one, but it has ceramic in it. And we'll pair that with an orange pad first, see how well it cuts and finishes, and remove some of the defects. As far as a water spot remover, we have a couple of different ones up here. We have the 3D eraser gel. We also have water spot remover from MacShine. We also have spot rinse from Shine Supply. Why do I have so many water spot removers? Because each of them has different levels, different chemicals in it that remove water spots, and you never know what you're going to encounter. It's just not enough. Sometimes you need a variety to see which works. That is the life of a detailer. You need different chemicals for different things because of the variables being so numerous. Each vehicle is different. Each condition of the vehicle is different. Water spots can be different. Staining can be different. The paint system is different. Lots of variables. So we completed the interior. We're working on the paint. We're trying a few different things, and I think we have devised a plan. Pretty much this half of the hood, we're testing some things on, and we're using the Shine Supply spot rinse. It can be used like a spray on and you know, wipe into the paint while it's wet, but I'm using it like I use the other water spot removers, using it on an applicator like this, working in small little sections, and then I'm branching out into larger sections the more that I get comfortable with it and I can see what it's doing. And it is helping to remove the residue and some of the other water spots that are, you know, kind of etched into the paint or kind of hard onto the paint. Not etched, but kind of hard water spots on the paint, the mineral part. And I can see it actually being dissolved, but what's left is the crater left by the water spot itself. Now this side wasn't done yet, and you can see it's pretty bad. And I'm not trying to get all of those water spots removed anyway, because they were here in the paint along with the horrible soap residue. But I did this side, and you can see a little bit of an improvement, but you can still see the hard etching of the water spots that are in there. Yeah, look how, ugh. So yeah, I mean, it's still there. So we're going to polish it, but am I going to try to shoot for removing all those water spots? Not necessarily, because the soap residue was the problem to begin with. This was kind of something that we discovered as we washed and now inspect the paint. This is something I'm going to put on my form, my customer agreement form. This is my customer sign-off sheet. I have it in a digital form, which I'm going to use, but just to show you right now, this was on a previous car that we did, and we have the customer sign-off on it. So we're going to state here that we removed the residue, but we did find other hard etched water spots into the paint that were there. And, you know, the customer may not have seen that because we see it under these lights. Didn't really see it outdoors. Now that we did this hood, this half of the hood, we're going to polish it. Let's see what we can accomplish. Oh yeah, that is what I'm talking about. That is the result that we want. So from this, oh yes, excellent. All right, that combo will work. Yellow Rupes pad, Burnout from Shine Supply. This is a ceramic based all-in-one. So it has ceramic protection, it polishes. Yeah, very awesome. Okay, let's see what we can do with this spot. All right, so here's what we're finding. It's helping with the water spots dramatically. However, it's leaving just the slightest amount of haze. You see that? And that's just with the yellow Rupes pad. That's crazy. But sometimes that's just what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with weird paint. It could be soft paint that has these heavy water spots and defects in that you're really trying to get out in one shot. You know, one pad, one chemical, and maybe a few passes. We may find that we might have to cut it and then finish it down with something else. Black pad? Okay. Yeah, we'll see if that works. In fact, we might even use, maybe we'll switch out. This is working. Maybe we'll try another product, maybe the classic polish instead, and we'll just, we have to try a few things. It's working, it's removing those water spots, but it is leaving a little bit of haze. We have to kind of work through this to get the finish that we want without, multiple passes and multiple products and pads and all of that. But sometimes it's just the way that you have to solve some of these problems. So we're going to switch over to an orange pad. Let's see if it makes a difference. Did that make a difference? Yes, it did. Excellent. All right, that's what we're going for. Excellent job. Now you see still some little light defects in there. It's got defects. Don't worry about that. We got the majority of the water spotting. The residue is gone. We are improving this paint dramatically from what it used to look like. Remember, it used to look like that. Ugh. Now it's looking like that. Much better. So that's what we're shooting for. So we just went back over it with Classic Finish Plus. So it might be kind of a combo. If we're going to use this, however, we're not going to use this because this has protection in it. So let's go with this stuff and see how far we can go in doing these sections. If we come across a section we need a little bit more power, a little bit more cut, then we'll switch it up to something else. We're finding also that certain areas we repainted. I think this bumper was repainted, so that's not original, and there might be other areas on here that are not original. So that's why you can't just do one test spot and think that the entire vehicle will respond the same way. You will come across repainted sections or sections that are worse than others where you have to go a little heavier. You may have to finish a little bit more because you went so heavy. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about problem solving with detailing and why you should have multiple products and pads to come across these challenges. One product, one pad is not going to cut it. In our experience, that is what we have found because we work on so many different vehicles with so many different problems that you can't just rely on one pad, one product, one method. No. All right, my friends, this is turning out incredibly well. Oh yeah, water spots and residue gone. That's what it looked like before. So wifey's gonna be polishing that area, but she just did that area. Nicey goodness. That's crispy. We are almost done and it is looking incredible. I am so happy with the results. The residue gone. The water spots, the majority of them, I'd say about 90% of the water spots gone. Next is glass. The windshield, surprisingly, is not that bad. It's you know, grimy right now because I need to clean it and I need to finish off cleaning the interior. I need to get this sticky stuff off here. I usually use some Ulix. I actually have it in a small bottle, like a little pump bottle. I have it somewhere, I have to look for it. But I use Ulix to dissolve any of that sticky residue. Now for the sunroof, I was able to hit it with the same combination that I did on the paint, and it removed the majority of the water spots. I see a few here, but you know what? I don't see that with the naked eye. The camera picks it up. I don't see it. So I'll hit it again and I'll see, you know, if I can make it look better in the camera, but I know it is very strange. When I pick up the camera and go around the vehicle, I see more defects because the lens is so sensitive. It picks up those little minute things that you do not see with the naked eye. So that's why when filming like this, sometimes I tend to go overboard because I'm seeing it through the eyes of this lens. But if you were not filming, you would not see any of that. Now the back glass here is another situation. This is definitely bad. This is like the paint. I'm gonna hit this with Classic Cut and a microfiber disc that will demolish these water spots. And then we'll get to protecting the paint and finishing off the wheels, cleaning the inside of the glass, and also the trim. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna use on the trim. Now, as far as protection goes, I am going to use the Geon Q2 wax. Now, don't be fooled. It says wax Q2. This is a sealant. It's just in the paste form. It is a sealant. It's a blend. It's a ceramic sealant, in fact. So even though it says wax, it says that for marketing purposes so people can understand what it is. But I'll show you the application of this. It is so easy peasy. It's really, really nice and awesome for mobile detailers because you can apply this outdoors. We'll apply it with a little dual action polisher like that. Now this is not a proper DA polisher. This is just a wax spreader. That's all I use that little guy for. I'm going to use the quick view on the windshield. Now for the trim, I'm going to use Clutch. Clutch is a silica spray that can be used as protection, but I'm just opting to go with the Q2 because I haven't used that in a while, but either one would work. But this can be applied to trim. It's an incredible product for trim. So this is, it's a satin material, but it can be used on that. But I'm talking about this type of trim, this textured plastic. You can apply it with a microfiber or a brush. So I'll show you how to apply that and the finish that it gives. It is incredible. Now, as an alternative method, you could use Can Coat, Geon Can Coat on the trim also. It's actually really good. This is the older version. I still have a little bit left, about that much left where my thumb is. This is the older version. I don't use it on paint anymore. I use it on trim and it does a really good job. I don't use it on paint because it's so old. It smears way too much on the paint, so I'm just using it just for trim. All right, and we're done. Look how nice it looks.
Perfect.
Perfect, yay. Of course, we have the wax here curing for a bit. You don't have to let it sit on here for like an hour or anything. You know, 10 to 15 minutes is fine. We have the Q2 view, the quick view on the glass curing, and then we have the wax, Q2 wax, yes, use it as deodorant, It smells delicious. Super easy to apply. You can apply it by hand, but I just like to do it by machine. I think it's faster, it's more efficient. We are almost done. Actually, what I forgot to do first, which I usually do first, is the trim. So let's hit the trim with clutch. Now, removal is a breeze. You'll notice in some areas it might be a little thick. If I apply it thick or if you apply it thick, you know, sometimes that just happens. Not a big deal. Use multiple towels if you need, but, oh man, that's so smooth. I love this stuff. It is really nice. Flip the towel and buff to perfection. Who says that? Comment down below. Yeah, I think I'll definitely need a second towel, but man, it looks good. This was just a little over applied here. That's where I first started applying it, but sometimes that happens. Not a big deal. If that happens, you can apply any type of detailer that you want. I have a little bit of punch it here that I'll just mist, and this will just remove any of the residual, a little bit extra that's on there. That is looking good. There, grabbing a second towel. Oh yeah, that helped.